Hello, my name is Stuart Wilton. I've been an independent consultant in water treatment and water hygiene for over 30 years, and I'm now also chairman of the Water Management Society. Legionnaire's disease continues to hit the headlines after its first discovery in 1976 in the United States. It continues to kill and severely curtail the quality of life of people who survive an attack. The worrying fact is that almost in every case that has been investigated, if simple precautions had been taken, subsequent fatalities could have been easily avoided. Company directors, owners and operators of buildings need to understand that they have a statutory duty to control the potential risk from Legionella, and that failure to do so can result in criminal prosecutions with heavy fines and potential imprisonment.
My name's Anthony Hoare and I work for Swiftclean UK Limited. I head up the surveying department, which is a team of specialist surveyors who cover the whole of the United Kingdom. A Legionella risk assessment is required by law under the approved code of practice L8 and also under the cost regulations. Essentially, when starting a Legionella risk assessment, we need to have a look at all associated assets within the building. This will include all cold water tanks, hot water cylinders, associated outlets and also the showers within the building. This also has to include a thorough review of the documentation they have on site to ensure that what management they've got in place is adequate to assess the risk within that building. In this particular scenario, I'm looking at a pair of domestic cold water tanks, and what I need to do is assess the condition of these, check the cleanliness. I'm looking at the pipe work to make sure it meets with the current specification. I'll make sure it's adequately insulated, which in this scenario could be improved. Doing an internal inspection, I'm looking for any signs of bacterial growth. I'm also looking for sediment or scale. This tank's looking okay. As it's a very thorough risk assessment, we also take photos, not just of bad points, but also of good points. Now I'm happy with the survey that I've done, the visual survey. I'll now fill out a very comprehensive condition survey sheet, which basically lists all of the elements we'd be looking for, which are checks against the water supply, water fittings regulations. We also have a tick box against whether there's any sediment, any mould, if there's any corrosion. These are obviously plastic cold water tanks, that's not going to be an issue in modern buildings. And then when this sheet is finished, this will be a direct replica within the Legionella risk assessment itself, and it's from this information that we base our recommendations and any remedial works which need to be carried out afterwards. We can also offer a full monitoring service, whereas one of our surveyors will come in each month and carry out the necessary temperature checks on the outlets. An integral part of Legionella management is maintaining the correct temperatures of the water. Now, hot water needs to be maintained above 50 degrees Celsius, while cold water needs to be maintained below 20 degrees Celsius. The Legionella risk assessment, when completed, sets up the management required for the site to comply with the current legislation. The risk assessment recommendations are comprehensive and include such features as remedial works required, as well as any documentation updates that are needed. Swiftclean can help with completing these recommendations, offering a full service of refurbishment works of cold water tanks which are in poor condition, to minor upgrades, as well as full cleans and disinfections of domestic water systems. Should you decide not to carry out a risk assessment, you're potentially exposing your employees to risk from the water systems on site, which in the worst case scenario could lead to someone contracting Legionnaire's disease.
Remember, Legionnaire's disease is a preventable illness, and in general, simple precautions combined with simple checks will ensure your building's water systems do not become a potential health risk.
For more information or further advice, contact us on free phone 0800 243 471 or www.swiftclean.co.uk.